In this segment, we're going to learn to tie the double fisherman's knot or the grapevine knot. It's the knot we use for tying our cord into loops, which we'll call prusiks, or for tying two ropes together. Lots of uses for it. It starts with, and I'm going to demonstrate it here with a rope first because it's easier to see. And then I'm going to turn around and do it again with the 6mm accessory cord, which we'll use to tie our prusiks up with. All right? So, here's a rope. I'll take two ends and oppose them. All right? And I'll grab it in the middle. Now what I'm going to do is tie this tail around this strand. All right? Now the way this works, some people like to use a thumb, some a finger, or as a guide, or some nothing at all. I kind of like to use my thumb. So I'm going to use that as a guide. I'm going to take this tail and wrap it around this strand. Then I'm going to wrap it again, kind of going backwards. And then I'm going to replace my thumb with the tail and pull it through and kind of cinch it down. All right? Now I'm going to turn this around and do exactly the same thing. Now I wrapped around this way. You could wrap the opposite direction. As long as you do the same thing both times, it won't matter. All right? So I'm going to wrap around once, wrap around twice, going back that way, replace my thumb with the tail, cinch it down, and then pull these together. And I end up with 4 parallel strands on one side and 2 X's on the other side going the same direction. If the knot doesn't pull together cleanly and the X's are going opposite directions, that just means when you wrapped it the second time, you went the other way. So just make sure you do it the same on both sides. And that's our double fisherman's knot. The tails, our goal is to have the tails a little bit longer than the knot. All right, these may be a little bit long, but that's a good example of the double fisherman's knot or grapevine knot. All right, so now let's tie it with our accessory cord. So this is 6mm accessory cord that we will tie. This will be one of our prusiks actually. All right, so again, I'll oppose the ends. All right, and if I need a little longer tail, I'll just pull it out. All right, grab it in the middle. I'm going to use my thumb as a guide. Wrap once, wrap twice. I think it was going backwards. And then replace my thumb with that tail. Now a little short, okay? But I can fix that. Turns out these tail lengths are important, and I'll tell you why in a second here. But I can adjust this tail length, kind of dial it in as I tighten a knot. If I need it to be longer, I'll just pull it out as I tighten the knot. If it's too long, I need to shorten it up, I just pull some of that excess through and I tighten it. So as I tighten this knot, I can adjust the length of the tail. All right, that's one side. All right, now let's turn it around and do exactly the same thing. I'm going to wrap this direction. I'll go once, twice, going backwards, replace my thumb with a tail, and now it's kind of long. Well, okay, I can fix that. As I tighten this knot down, I'll adjust that length. That looks about right. Okay, pull this together, snug it down, and I've got those 4 parallel strands on one side and 2 X's on the other. And the tails are just a little bit longer than the knot, which is just what I wanted, because when I actually use these prusiks in real life, in self-rescue, we'll be putting our full weight on these prusiks, and this knot will get very, very tight, and about 3/8 of an inch will suck into the knot before it gets rock hard. And the tails will be just the right length then, and they won't be too short. These can be very difficult to untie when it's super tight, and we don't want our tails to end up too short at that point and have to untie this thing. So that's our goal for our double grapevine or fisherman's knot for our prusiks. Now that we've learned the double fisherman's knot or the grapevine knot to tie a couple of ropes together or our cordage together, we're going to use that same knot for a different purpose to put a stopper knot in the rope, the end of the rope. So you like to have a stopper knot in the end of the rope for rappelling or to close the system to make sure that the rope can't come completely out of our system in belaying or rappelling. So, a stopper knot. Now, I only have one strand. I only need one strand. I don't have anything running through the middle of this knot. I don't need anything. I'm going to tie it the same way as I tied that grapevine knot. I'm going to use my thumb, plenty of tail out here. I'm going to wrap once, going to wrap twice, maybe I'll wrap 3 times. Make the knot a little bit bigger, and then run that tail through the knot, cinch it down, okay? And I want to cinch it down pretty good. Make sure it doesn't come loose when it bangs around when I'm rappelling or belaying somebody. Plenty of tail coming out of the knot, and that provides a good secure stopper knot. It's also called commonly a barrel knot, I guess for obvious reasons. So that's our stopper knot.